All right. All right, testing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Did I scare somebody? Okay, again, my name is Terry Sult, S-U-L-T. I'm the chief of the Cary Police Department. Wanted to express my condolences to the family of the individual that was in crisis today. Unfortunately, he took his own life. It's always a sad time when someone is in crisis, and it should bring attention to mental health across this country. He was a Cary citizen, and we care. I mean, that's the bottom line about it. There was literally a couple of hundred people involved with first trying to retrieve the hostage, 11-year-old boy, which was successful with only minor injuries that occurred inside without our us being involved with that. The negotiators did a remarkable job in securing his release. And then they did another remarkable job in trying to work with this individual with caring, with understanding, with professional skill, and most importantly, their training in how to deal with crisis situations. We really need to pay attention to the mental health issues that are going on in this country. And we need to look at the way that the mentally ill are lacking the treatment that they so desperately need. This has affected deeply those team members who spent the last 20 hours, whether it was a civilian, whether it was a firefighter, whether it was a tactical medic, whether it was negotiators, the tactical command, or whether it was just the officers that were helping with traffic or logistics. Every soul played a part in this and played a part in rescuing that 11-year-old boy. It's easy to focus on the loss today, but we should focus on the 11-year-old and just be grateful that he is still with us and can return to his family. But our prayers should also be with the family and with the victim that was in crisis and was just in a dark place. I have no other words to express the problems that we face with mental illness in this country. It resonates deeply with me that the largest provider of mental health care is our jails, and that just shouldn't be the case. I'll take a couple of questions if you like.
Chief, what was the relationship of the boy to the man who was armed in the apartment?
It was father and son, which makes it just that much more difficult. Anyone else?
Can you say where the boy is now? Is he with other family members at this point?
He was being treated at the hospital for minor gunshot wounds, and was expected to be released, and he would have been released to a family member.
So it's common for the young boy to be with his father? They had that relationship, or was it like a custody issue?
I'm really not at liberty while the investigation is going on, but the father and son did have a relationship, even though the mother and father were estranged. I believe she had a relationship as well, but we're not really, we're still looking into a lot of those details.
Who's the family member that called in this witness?
We're not at liberty to say at this point. It's still a very active investigation, and we've got to make sure that we dot our I's and cross our T's before we release a lot of detail.
You say the injuries were accidental, or was it intentional?
That's still under investigation. Again, they occurred inside the apartment when only the two of them were in there. and we're looking at the totality of the circumstances there.
Chief, what kind of tactics were used to, in the situation? Did agents enter the residence? Did they use any kind of flashbangs, anything of the sort?
The agents or the officers did not enter the apartment before the individual took his own life. The negotiations did deteriorate. As I told you, that we just don't know what the outcome of these things are going to be. I will tell you that we used every resource that we could put our hands on the local, state, and federal level to make sure we had the best advice and the best negotiators in place to try to save this man's life. A distraction device was utilized, but no entry was made. Upon checking and seeing from actually outside the door, they could tell that the gentleman had taken his own life.
And what hours did the negotiations start to deteriorate?
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you.
At what hour did things start to take a turn and the negotiations started to deteriorate?
It was up and down throughout the 20-hour period, or approximately 20-hour period. I really can't go into detail with that. I can tell you that it was very difficult because there were highs and lows. You could tell that this man was in a dark place and he was struggling to come out of that. And it was very, very tough on the negotiators that were involved, because part of their job is to develop a rapport.
Can you describe some of the, I guess, I would say tactics, but how did the negotiators work with this man? I mean, to show compassion, to help in the situation.
Well, you're exactly right. I mean, about showing compassion. It literally is developing a rapport and trying to develop a level of trust with the individual, letting them know that we actually care. We're there for them, not for, some kind of dynamic outcome. We want to help them as best we can and to make sure they find the services that they need.
No, this might be a little bit more reflecting on the situation, because it's an 11-year-old child. We want to focus on him and his life was saved. But of course, thinking about what he's going to face in the aftermath of this, because this was a mental health crisis to begin with. How can we support our youth, specifically this 11-year-old boy, as well as all the residents in this community that went through something very traumatic for them tonight that could lead to their own mental health struggles?
We will work with our social services partners to make sure that they are aware of what has occurred here. We already have the FBI is already meeting with the family. I just came from meeting with the mother and the sister of the victim. That's why I was running a little bit late. As you might guess, it was pretty emotional. Also there was FBI victim assistant, and we're working to provide resources and connectivity for that. And certainly that will apply to this young man as well. But we'll look to see whatever references that we can do. I have provided my personal cell number to the family, and to make sure that we make the connections and we're as transparent as possible as we possibly can.
Sir, how's this going to affect or shape training going forward when it comes to mental health and crisis? That's always been a push in recent years, but how is this going to shape moving forward?
And after any critical incident or crisis, we conduct an extensive debrief, and we look at things that went well and things that went wrong. But ultimately, we're not in control of what a person does with themselves. What we can do is help guide them, or try to help guide them into a good path, a good place for them to be, to where they can receive the counseling and all. Keep in mind that a lot of folks who are mentally ill, most folks that are mentally ill, when we are called, it's usually when they're in crisis and they've had mental illness for a considerable period of time. And then we're expected to resolve that without any pain, without anybody getting injured. And that's just not a reasonable expectation. Although, believe it or not, in most cases, we are successful in doing that. We're heartbroken that we were not successful today. And with that, I think we'll close out.
Chief, real fast. For the other residents here in this community, if they've been able to get back in their homes, if things been able to get back in their homes.
Yes, you can help us in that aspect. Please let the community know we appreciate their patience. We appreciate the school board for assisting with the children that were going to school, coming from school. Very much appreciate the property management team here who assist us with those that were displaced from the apartments. I can't thank them enough. The businesses that tolerated us for 20 some hours and assisted us while we were here. Shameless plug, but Lazy Boy was a great partner through this whole thing. And we really appreciate the public-private partnerships that we have. We can't do our job without the public, and this was an example of that today. So thank y'all.
Thanks, guys.
All right.
I'm gonna let